welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. Getting right into things this morning, volunteer Tammy Benson has our first guest on her lap. That is Callie 3. Here in the shelter, we often get animals with the same names because when they come in with a name already, we will not change their name unless it's kind of offensive or detrimental to the adoption process. Like a dog named Cujo, it's probably not going to help him find a home. So when we get a lot of animals with the same names, to make sure that there's no confusion, we give them a number attached to the end of that. So this is Callie 3. She is a beautiful dilute tortie. So what that means is they have that same traditional tortoiseshell coloring where you get the blacks and the oranges, but it's kind of whitewashed. So instead, you get the grays and the tans and things like that. She's about 3 years old, and or 2 years old, excuse me, and she was brought to the shelter because her owner said they didn't have time to take care of her. But you know, one of the great things about cats is that they're a pretty low maintenance pet. Callie does like a fair amount of attention and is not afraid to ask for it, but overall, you put food down depending on how you feed, a couple times a day or just once a day. Clean out the litter box once a day, give them a little bit of attention, little playtime, little cuddle time, and they're good to go. It's not like your dog where you have to make sure that you're taking it out for walks and doing all of this. They're pretty low maintenance pets, which is what makes them so great. Callie is a little shy initially, so you know, bringing her into a new situation, she'll take a couple minutes, or if it's a big change, a couple of days. But then once she settles in, she definitely is the cat that's going to come up to you, ask you for attention, reach out for you. She's vocal about wanting to hang out, and as you can see, she's pretty comfortable on a lap. So that's something that's quite appealing to a lot of people. If you are interested in Callie, you can visit her here at the shelter. We are open Monday through Saturday, and the adoption fee for a cat like Callie would be $97.50. Our next guest is one of the many kittens on our adoption floor. This is Simon, and he's a handsome little 10-week-old brown tabby, and he came in with his brother, who was named Garfunkel. They were Simon and Garfunkel. Garfunkel recently got adopted, so Simon's all alone, and he needs a family to take him home as well. All of our kittens, all of our cats for that matter, are going to be spayed or neutered before they leave. We're going to make sure that they've been updated on all of their vaccines up to what is age appropriate. We will send home a voucher for a rabies vaccine with one of the area vets for guys like Simon who are currently underage. We get them up to date on all their preventatives. We also microchip them. So we do all of that basic maintenance work for about $97.50 is the adoption fee. Simon is your typical kitten. He's adorable. He's full of energy. He plays really hard and then he sleeps really hard. You know, still learning, you know, proper manners to live in a house. So if you're getting a kitten, and a lot of people like them, but you have to think that they are not trained yet. So you have to teach them what's appropriate to scratch on and what's not, making sure that they always know where their litter box is so that they're using it properly. You know, showing them that it's not okay to sit on the kitchen table or the countertops and all of that stuff. And just being prepared for a high level of energy. And knowing too that when you're adopting a kitten, as adorable as they are, that they do eventually grow up, and that when you're getting a kitten, you're not always sure what their personalities are ultimately going to be. You could be really in the market for a lap cat, and maybe, you know, a year from now, Simon's like not into that. He doesn't want to be a lap cat. He wants to run around and play and be a little bit more independent. So, you know, just keeping that in mind, that you don't know what the end result is going to be as far as their personality when you're getting kittens. There are many more in foster care, so if you come in and the kitten that you really want, or that looks just the way that you want it to look, is already spoken for, then just keep checking back in because we have so many in foster care. Again, the adoption fee is going to be $97.50 for Simon, and he would be, you know, great on his own, or it's often easier to get 2 kittens, and you get a $20 reduction when you adopt 2 animals at the same time. Our next guest might be an example of what Simon will look like when he grows up. This is Langston. and he is 1 year old. He came to us as a stray, and he is a domestic medium hair, and he just has like a very kind of regal, exotic look to him. Just the way his face is a little narrow, and then he has this, it's kind of hard to see now, this huge, gorgeous, fluffy tail that's just like amazing. And he's just kind of chill, like what you see is what you get with Langston right now. In his cage, he's just the guy that like lays around and rolls around and wants you to pet him and is perfectly content just hanging out with a person. We've color coded him orange, which means he's just individually average, but typical cat, but a little more relaxed than maybe some of the other cats you might see that are color-coded green. He's definitely not shy. I haven't really spent a great deal of time with him, but I picked him up and he was like, okay, this is what we're doing, and didn't have a problem with it. Didn't have a problem meeting Tammy, and he's never really seen her, so he's just going to be a pretty easygoing guy that's going to settle in relatively nicely. He just, when you look at him, he's just so amazing. He has, like, his whiskers are kind of broken off in some places, so his whiskers are different lengths. He just has a lot of character just when you physically look at him, not even thinking about his personality. So he has a ton of great things going for him. We recently neutered him, so that's already taken care of. You know, he's gotten all of his vaccines, he's been dewormed, he's gotten that microchip, so all he needs now is just to find a nice home to kind of settle in with and spend the rest of his life with. So if you're interested in making Langston that part of your family that just kind of completes it, then you can visit him here. Our visiting hours are going to be Monday, Tuesday, and Friday from 10 to 5, Wednesday and Thursday from 12 to 8, and on Saturdays we're open for visitation from 10 to 4. Our next guest is Jean, and Jean is honestly one of my favorites, and she often gets overlooked. She is the sweetest cat. She adjusts so well to new environments, new surroundings. I picked her up, carried her out here, put her right on Tammy's lap. She's like, okay, and she's like starts to fall asleep. She's so chill. She's about a year old. She came to us as a stray, and quickly we learned that she's just going to be a forever kitten. You know, she weighs about 7 pounds and she's very petite. You do have to be careful when you have a smaller cat, you know, about their diet so they don't become overweight. But if you want that kitten look and you want it forever, then Jean is your girl. She's going to have that little kitten baby face forever. And the bonus is that you get that look without having to deal with all of the crazy kitten behavior. So she's very calm, she's very relaxed, she likes to be petted and handled and cuddled and will sit on your lap. She will also play, but she's not going to be as needy as, say, a kitten who constantly wants your attention and wants you to interact with them. So there's a lot of pluses to making Jean part of your family. Currently, she's on a bottom cage, so she often gets overlooked. You know, she's got that beautiful dark gray coat, but it also kind of blends into the stainless steel cages, making her easy to miss, especially since her cage is big and on the bottom and she's kind of small. So just, you know, take a look when you're walking around. Really make sure that you're investigating all the animals to see which one is going to be the best fit for you and your family. You might miss out on the one that you really were looking for the whole time because you didn't take the time to look into one of those bottom cages or kind of look around those hammocks to see what's behind there. The shelter is a scary place. Jean seems to be fine with it, but some of the other cats need a little bit of a hiding space. So, you know, that doesn't mean that they're going to be scared at home. So just give them an extra chance, if you will. But you can visit Jean here. Our address is 1832 Rosemont Avenue. Perhaps one of the cats on the adoption floor with the biggest personality is Mavis. And Mavis is 3 years old, and she is, everything is an adventure to Mavis. Everything is, she's very curious, very nosy. She has a high energy level, and that's partially kind of what brought her back into the shelter environment, is that she was a little too active for her previous owners. So we're looking for a family that's going to be okay with the fact that Mavis likes to run around and play and she wants to get into stuff. She's just going to liven up your house. Like, if you need some activity, something to make you laugh, then maybe Mavis is the girl for you. But if you're wanting something that, you know, you just want a little lap cat that's going to hang out and be really chill and quiet, probably not thinking about taking Mavis home. She loves to play with toys. She adapts really well to change just because everything is a new adventure to her. So it's not really super scary. She just kind of takes it all in, and her body language doesn't really show any signs of fear or anxiousness. She loves to eat, apparently. She enjoys a good meal. Who doesn't? So she's always ready for that. The problem is that Mavis is super smart and Mavis is super agile. And if you have lever doorknobs in your home, then she can get to her food whenever she wants because she can open those doors. So, you know, to some people that's kind of a scary thing. You're worried about her safety or might be a nuisance. To other people like me, I think that's amazing. I'm like, Mavis is so talented, I could make her YouTube famous. So it just depends on where you're at. So that is something that you want to, you know, she can do. So you might need to put her food elsewhere if you have those types of things or anything that you're concerned about her getting into. As you can see, she is very strong-willed and she wants to do what she wants to do, and she was just letting Tammy know, hey, I'm not into being up here. I want to be out there exploring, and I'm telling you about it. But she's really sweet, you know. In addition to all cats are going to let you know what their limits are, and this is a really good example of, you know, they want to do what they want to do, and their body language is kind of an indicator. You know, her tail's twitching a little bit, saying, hey, I want to get down, explore, I don't like that you're confining me. And then when Tammy obviously couldn't listen because she has to do what we need to do, Mavis gave her a little bit of a verbal cue. That happens. If you're up for all of the adventure that having Mavis in your home will be, you can visit her here at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. We hope that you enjoyed meeting some of these adoptable animals. After the break, we're going to introduce you to even more, and we have some information on an upcoming promotion that you won't want to miss.
What is your vision for Frederick County's future? Would it include great schools and a business-friendly environment? How about arts, culture, and recreation? Or vast farmlands and thriving towns? Would you want a strong public safety presence and less traffic? These are some of the quality of life topics that are included in a long-term comprehensive plan called Livable Frederick, initiated by County Executive Jan Gardner. Part of this innovative plan includes a survey to gain insight about how citizens envision Frederick County in 30 years and beyond. This survey is available online at livablefrederick.org, and paper copies are available at local libraries and a variety of county locations. Everyone is invited to participate. The deadline to submit surveys online is July 22nd, or fill out a paper version as late as September 16th. Livable Frederick is your chance to shape the future of Frederick County. To join the conversation and get engaged, visit livablefrederick.org and click like at facebook.com/livablefrederick.
Welcome back. Because we don't have very many dogs that are available right now, we're going to introduce you to some additional cats today. And the first guest on this portion of the show is going to be Egg Roll. And Egg Roll is about 1.5 years old. She's a beautiful Torby. She's very soft, but she can also be a little shy. When she first came in, she just basically hid in her little hidey hut 24/7. But after a little bit of time, she's definitely come out of her shell. In her cage where she feels comfortable, she comes right to the front. She wants to meow for attention. She'll reach out for you. She tries to, if I'm being honest, escape a little bit. She wants to see her neighbor cats and kind of say what's up. So she really has a good personality, but she just has to feel safe and secure before she'll start showing that. When I tried to take her out of her cage, a little uneasy, she's like, why are you taking me away from my safe zone? and you can still see that there's a little bit of anxiousness to her as she sits on Tammy's lap. But again, with time, somebody being patient with her, letting her acclimate, that will hopefully subside, and you'll get to see that really sweet, curious, affectionate side of her. She was brought to the shelter because apparently the family was not in agreement to keep her after they had kept her for approximately a year. They say that she has gotten along with dogs and children. They say that she's shy, which you can definitely observe here, but that she is also playful as well. She's good about using her litter box, and no real issues. It's just watching her kind of blossom and start to feel safe and secure in her new environment that's going to be a real treat. If you are interested in Miss Eggroll, she would be adopted for that $97.50 adoption fee, and she was already spayed, but we've gone ahead and updated all of her vaccines and other types of preventatives, and we've made sure that she was microchipped so that if she ends up as a stray again, somebody will know where and how to get her back home. Again, you can visit her at the shelter, 1832 Rosemont Avenue. Normally, I'm a big fan of continuity. I don't want to, appear different in an episode of Pet Pals. However, today it was a must. I am now wearing a different colored shirt, and that is because, as is commonplace when you work with animals, I got peed on. So, changed my shirt, feel a little better, smell a little better, and now we are ready to meet the next guest on our show, Callie. Callie's been on the show several times before, but she's still here looking for her forever home, and she is an amazing cat. I absolutely adore her. She is so affectionate and so friendly, and she's, she lives in the kitty cabana, and she's often one of the first cats that when you walk in, is so excited she runs, or in her case, waddles right up to see you, because she just loves attention. And unfortunately, she's 10 years old, so that's gonna limit the people who are willing to adopt her, because some people they're into the kittens and they don't necessarily want to take on a senior pet. The other thing that really is making it difficult for her to find a home is that she's overweight. So when she came into the shelter back in March, she weighed 17 pounds 13 ounces. And that is a very unhealthy weight for a cat of her size. And we have been doing a lot of work with Callie to get her on a good diet, get her in the cabana, get her moving around. And we are happy to report that when they last weighed her on June 17th, she was down to 14 pounds 11 ounces. So she's had a great weight loss while she was here with us. And we're hoping that that can continue in another loving home. So she's going to be that cat that wants to cuddle with you, wants to play with you, is always excited to see you, just isn't really afraid of strangers coming to visit. She's a wonderful cat. You just have to be willing to help her continue her weight loss journey. So if you are interested in taking home one of the best cats that we have on the floor, come in and ask us about Callie. We can talk to you about how we are dieting her. And then that's always something that you can discuss with your vet to make sure you get her on a safe plan so that she's doing that in a way that's going to help her have a nice, long, happy life. If you are interested in adopting two cats, Callie did come in with her son, Spotty, and they were both unfortunately brought in when their owner passed away. So you can adopt Callie. Her adoption fee as a senior cat 10 up would be $57.50. Our longest dog resident right now is Luna, and she's been with us since the beginning of May 1st to be exact. She's an 8.5-year-old hound mix. She's a beautiful tricolor dog. My favorite thing about Luna, at least aesthetically, is her tail. It's amazing. And she was brought to us because the new baby in the house, allergic to dogs. So obviously we're not going to get rid of the baby, so we had to find Luna a new home. So she's been here for a while. She can be a little bit loud in her kennel, which sometimes could be a little off-putting for people. A lot of the dogs bark in the kennel. They're trying to get your attention. They're seeing all kinds of stuff going on. They're seeing other dogs go on walks, and they're like, why can't I go on a walk? But once you get her outside, you this is Luna. Even though she is an older dog, she is definitely full of energy. Took her to the radio, hopped right in the van, was cool with that, got there, was like, what's up, ready for anything. doing a little bit of counter surfing, if I remember correctly. Just full of energy, loves to play with toys. But when she's ready, she can kind of mellow out and chill out a little bit. Because she is a hound dog, she's going to be following her nose. Hounds are often easily distracted, things like that. So just making sure you're prepared for that aspect of things. And also, she's not too big of a dog, but she does weigh 67 pounds. So just making sure that you can physically handle walking her and things like that. If you have to lift her into your truck or something like that, that you can do that. According to her previous owner, she lived with chickens and a rabbit. So unlike many of the hounds that come in, she's okay with those types of animals in the home. She gets along well with other dogs, and we have done parallel walking with her, and some of our volunteers have allowed her to interact with some other dogs, which I think went pretty well. But otherwise, she's just kind of she does have some things that she needs to work on, like some puppy behaviors that maybe need some training, like jumping up on people and, barking, things like that. But otherwise, pretty good dog. Just needs someone to love her in her golden years. Because she is a senior, she would get a reduction in her adoption fee, so she could be part of your family for a fee of just $72.50. All of our normal application policies apply. The next dog that we have for you is Herc. He's a 2-year-old shepherd mix. He is one of our new additions to the adoption floor. Dogs have been going pretty quickly, so if you're looking for a dog to be part of your family, then I suggest coming in frequently, taking a look, not just waiting to see what comes on Pet Pals or what you see online, because sometimes things get full on applications before we can even post it that it's available. So right now, we are in a great position in that we don't have a lot of dogs to choose from. But Herc is one of those guys that recently made his way to the adoption floor. We do have an age recommendation for Herc. We're looking for kids that are 10 and older, just because he doesn't really like restraints, and he can be a little grabby and mouthy when he's playing with toys. So we just want to make sure that he's going to go to a home where the kids are old enough to understand what Herc will and will not tolerate, so that everybody's safe and happy. He came to us as a stray, and so our behavior assessment is really what we're learning about him. He is a very vocal dog, especially in his kennel. He lets you know that he wants out. He lets you know that he's not happy that you're walking another dog by, and he's not going out, so those types of things. In his kennel, he does react negatively to other dogs. So not necessarily an indication on how he is with dogs outside of the kennel, but the kennel environment can be stressful. So if you do have another dog, you really want to make sure you're taking the time to bring your dog in and see how they're going to get along. Using caution if you're taking Herc out to places where there's going to be lots of other dogs and things like that. He's easy to obtain, he's friendly, he's excited, he's difficult to walk because he can pull, he jumps, no issues with food aggression, he really likes his toys, so he might accidentally nip at your hand by accident when he's looking for the toy. He likes to be petted. But again, looking at kids that are at least 10 years old, just to make sure everybody is safe in the home. Things that we're going to do for Herc, we're going to make sure he gets neutered. He's already had his vaccines made up to date. He's had his dewormer, his flea and tick preventative. He's been microchipped. So all he needs now is for somebody who's willing to give him the training that he might need. Learn to walk a little bit nicer on the leash and learn to do things like drop it and be a little bit more patient with his toys and so on. If you're up for the high energy of Herc, then you can visit him here at Animal Control. Adoption fees for our adult dogs are going to be $92.50. People often forget that we do have small animals available for adoption at the shelter. Typically we have things like rabbits and of course guinea pigs, and we get hamsters from time to time, gerbils, and other types of exotic small animal-y pets. Right now we have several guinea pigs. Most of them are male with the exception of these two. These guys are Brownie, who is obviously the brown one, and Sassy, and they came in about a month ago with 2 other female guinea pigs. They were all together. They previously lived together. Their owner was moving. Sushi and Dumpling were adopted, and now we just have these guys left, and they need to be adopted together. We will not separate them. They are relatively young. They are about 7 months old. And what typically happens, we see this a lot, is, you know, people get their guinea pigs from the pet store, and then after about a year, then they start ending up here at the shelter. So these guys are a little bit younger, so they still have a lot of time where they can be socialized, to be handled and things like that. But you do want to make sure that you're prepared to take on their special care needs. They need their hay, they need their pellets, they need their veggies, they need certain, to make sure that their cage is always clean, that they have the proper bedding, that they have their little hidey huts, and that you are taking the time to socialize them and interact with them. They are going to be a more enjoyable pet, and they're going to be happier if you take the time to interact with them. If they stay in their cage all the time, and then they're not really a pet, so to speak. You can get lots of information online about small animals from Small Angels Rescue, somewhere that we use locally, or just any, you know, go to PetSmart. They have info sheets. You just want to make sure that you're really prepared to provide them with the proper care. We adopt our guinea pigs for $10 a piece, or 2 for $15. So because they're bonded, they would go for that 2 for $15 rate. You do want to make sure that if you plan on adding more guinea pigs to your family, that you're introducing them slowly. These guys are already familiar with one another. They already live together, so they can stay together. But if you want to do another one, you can't just put that one in the cage with them. If you are interested in these guys, the first step is obviously going to be to visit them here at the shelter. Our address is 1832 Rosemont Avenue, and these guys will be happy to see you. If guinea pigs aren't really what you're looking for, then there's plenty of other animals on the adoption floor. You've met just a handful of them, but you're going to see the most animals by visiting us. We hope that we will see you sometime soon, and if not, we hope that you'll at least tune in next week to learn more about our adoptable animals.
Hi, I'm Tracy, and this is Catherine. We are Frederick County 911 dispatchers, and we're here to tell you what to expect when dialing 911.
We're on the line to listen, and we also have important instructions to give you. Your 911 operator needs to get essential information from you as quickly as possible by asking the following questions in this order.
What is the address of the emergency so we can send the right help to the right location? What is the phone number you're calling from? If the line disconnects, we may need to call you back. What is your name so we can address you properly? And tell me exactly what happened. Asking these questions allows operators to start dispatch to emergencies quickly.
Your 911 operator is often working closely with one or more dispatchers, obtaining important information which is relayed to responders who are on the way to your location while you are still on the phone.
This process is repeated on each call to ensure responders get to each emergency as quickly and safely as possible with the right information to provide the best service they can.
Law enforcement, fire and rescue, and other responders rely on 911 operators and dispatchers to obtain specific information that varies with each type of call. Sometimes it may seem as though your 911 operator is asking a series of unnecessary questions, but in fact this information is vital for getting the right help sent to the right place. Often, help is already on the way while your 911 operator is talking to you.
While emergency crews are responding, dispatchers continue to provide them with updated information gathered by your 911 operator.
Also, your 911 operator may be able to provide you with important life-saving direction, from how to safely exit a building on fire to CPR instruction, providing important information for staying safe and out of danger during a vehicle accident, as well as helping a caller deliver a baby.
For more information, visit frederickcountymd.gov/911 or call the non-emergency number at 301-600-1603.